Hi everyone, welcome to the GSDAC 5-minute sabbatical summary. We are now on lesson 6 of the first quarter titled God's Love of Justice. Our memory verse this week is from Jeremiah 9 verse 24. But let him who glories glory in this, that he understands and knows me, that I am the Lord, exercising loving kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth. For in this I delight, says the Lord. This week, we're diving into how God's love and justice are connected. To guide us, we'll explore 3 important questions that summarize the whole lesson. Let's start with questions number 1. What makes God's justice special? In ancient times, people believed in gods who were unpredictable and harsh. They thought these gods demanded terrible things like child sacrifices and that people had to constantly work to earn their favor. These false gods were actually described in the Bible as being demons in Deuteronomy 32 verse 17. But the God of the Bible is completely different. He is always good, fair, and loving. Psalm 33 verse 5 tells us God delights in justice. He loves it. Unlike human justice system that can sometimes be unfair and biased, God's justice is perfect. What makes His justice so special is that it is rooted in love. Psalms 85 verse 10 beautifully says, "Mercy and truth have met together. Righteousness and peace have kissed." God's justice is not just about punishment for wrongdoing, but also about protecting the weak, defending the oppressed, and bringing hope to those who are suffering. Now, this leads us to another important question. If God is so just and loving, how can we trust Him when life feels uncertain? How does God's unchanging character give us hope? Life is full of changes. People let us down, and sometimes it feels like nothing stays the same. But God is not like that. Malachi 3 verse 6 says, "I am the Lord, I do not change." This means that God's love, mercy, and justice are always the same. He doesn't act on a whim or treat people unfairly. James 1 verse 17 reminds us that every good and perfect gift comes from Him, the one who doesn't change like shifting shadows. You might wonder, what about the stories in the Bible where it seems that God changes His mind? For example, in Jonah's stories, God relented from destroying Nineveh when the people repented. Did God really change? No. This actually shows us that God's mercy is consistent with His character. When people turn back to Him, He responds with love and forgiveness. Because of His unchanging character, we can trust Him even in the hardest times. Whether we are going through challenges or celebrating victories, God's always there, always good and always just. Now that we know God's justice and love are constant, the next question is, how does this affect how we live? How should we live in response to God's justice and love? God's justice isn't just about what He does. It is also about what He calls us to do. Micah 6 verse 8 gives us a simple yet powerful message: to act justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. What does this look like in our daily lives? It means standing up for what is right, being kind and compassionate to others, and staying close to God in humility and faith. Jesus takes it even further in Matthew 5 verse 43 until 48 when He tells us to love not just our friends but our enemies. And that's not easy. But when we reflect God's love in this way, we show that world what is justice really looks like. Until God's justice, ultimate justice, is fully revealed, we have a role to play. We can be His hands and feet, sharing His love with those around us, standing up for the vulnerable, and spreading kindness in a world where desperately needs it. In the end, God's justice and love go hand in hand. His justice is not something to fear, but to celebrate because it flows from His love for us. So let us trust Him, reflect His character, and share His love with others. I encourage you to take your time to study these lessons more deeply and join our Sabbath school classes this coming Sabbath. Thank you for watching and God bless.